Ken, does this look like a waste of space to you?
It does not look like a waste of space to me.
A lot of people comment on this being a waste of space for silverware storage, but the reality is,
when you're adding dividers, whether it's a prefabricated utensil tray that you purchased at the home goods store, you're gonna end up with dead space. You know, your silverware and your utensils do not fit perfectly within those spaces.
even if we fabricate a drawer here, or order a pre-made drawer, they're a couple inches wide. It's more of a universal type storage. So it naturally, I'm gonna guess, it's probably a bigger space than this. Despite having this nice walnut, solid walnut in the corners that is not doing anything. The next question that, a lot of people had asked is, well, what happens if they change the silverware?
So this block is actually removable. It is not permanent.
Right, we can make another one if they decide that they're gonna change the silverware. I don't know about you, but I don't change my silverware that often.
Yeah, me neither.
So we asked the question to the client, right?
When we discussed this with the client, they did love the idea and they wanted to go out and purchase a brand new set of silverware that they could have.
Something that they liked and they were gonna commit to. This stemmed with some inspiration. We take a lot of inspiration from Instagram, and this was something that we kind of were inspired from Henry Built, which is a company, I believe it's out in California, and they have a lot of intentional storage design. And I loved the utensil block, and when we talked about it, I knew that it would be something cool. This is the second one we built, right?
It is.
The first one was total trial and error, but this one, I think we streamlined the process a little bit. There's still a lot of work. Can you walk us through what it takes to take the conceptual design to this?
So we start off with some rough sawn 16-quarter walnut blocks. We clean them up and basically laminate to the size of this space. How we're getting that is taking the silverware specs and we are laying them out with even spacing between each one, which is how we're getting our overall dimensions for the block.
Are you drawing them in CAD or are you drawing this by hand?
At first by hand. From there, we fine tune each measurement of each utensil. We draw them up and lay them out, and then it transfers over into CAD.
So our friends over at Barney and Carey, Dovey, takes your hand drawing, draws it up in CAD, and then from there, what's the process?
I'll head over there and we'll do a couple of trial runs on some scrap, usually just 3/4 plywood, to make sure that our tolerances are good and everything works. From there, we tweak as necessary and then just hit it on the CNC.
They run this on the CNC and this gets cut 100% on that machine.
That's right.
So they're making multiple passes?
Yes.
From there, are we good to go?
We're not. We take it back to our shop where we painstakingly sand.
Ian spent what, a day?
Anyway, yeah.
So Ian, appreciate it. He's doing everything he can to hand sand, power sand, whatever, to get into these areas and prep for finish.
Yep, and we will also do a final trim of the block to make sure that we're square and it fits within our space allotted.
There has to be some play. You don't want them tight. You want to be able to reach down and grab them. This gap through the flat portion of your silverware, and that's specifically so you can reach down and grab it. One nice thing I like is comparing it to like a universal tray or a tray that might hold them not stacked. When you reach down, you can actually count. You can physically feel like each silverware and you know how many you're grabbing. It's more intentional, right? The preface behind this, beyond the inspiration and kind of making a cool utensil block, because the first thing, it is a cool feature. It is, a little bit for that cool factor, but it's also about the intentional storage. When we started this journey going down the road of building our own cabinetry for our projects, but we're not just a cabinet maker, we're builders, remodelers, and cabinet makers. We needed to look at something else that would allow us to be consistent, but also be able to adapt to contemporary, modern designs, transitional, traditional, really whatever the house required. We started to look at the micro details. This is what the client wanted. They wanted their stuff in organized fashion. Silverware in intentional spots, pots and pans, the lids, everything having a place. And really, that's what we looked at when we started getting into more and more cabinetry, is how we can improve upon the way things are stored, the inside of our cabinetry, the consistency behind what we build is really gonna be driven by the minute and micro details that we pay attention to in the fabrication.
Absolutely.
So I think this is a stellar design, and the argument that it's a waste of space I think is null and void at this point. I know a few people have reached out to myself and I think you about if we manufacture these and sell them, and I think sure,
Send us your silverware.
and we'll map it out and we'll make them. But in all seriousness, this is going in a really cool kitchen. The guys are on site installing it now, so we'll be on site to film that install as well as the final reveal over the next couple weeks. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It'll allow you to get a notification when we upload a new video. As always, on Instagram, I'm at NSBuilders.
And I'm at Ken DeCoste.
Thanks for tuning in.